Hey,
There you go.
I
What's
don't know
going
what
on,
was
man?
going on, doctor.
They're trying to
How's it
stop
going,
us
man?
from good, man. They're trying to stop us from doing a great interview, but
Oh man, hey,
we
you
gotta
know
get
you
it
can't
done.
stop it, doctor. You can't stop it. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, man. Well, Matt, I want to thank you first of all for helping us set up that interview with Slim. That was an epic interview,
Oh
and you were the
yes.
mastermind behind that, so we got to give you some
Oh
props.
man, that's my brother, man. Amazing. We got some amazing things happen. Amazing vibes, man. We just been dancing and singing. It's just been incredible.
Yeah. And I want to start off this interview before we get started. I want to give a quick shout out to my boy Gino, who you work with extensively as well, the Latin Bird. That's my guy
Oh
right there.
yeah, yeah. Gino in Paris.
Yep, that's my guy. I've known him for many, many years, but
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. Actually,
yep.
Slim gave me a verse for him for one of his for his upcoming like later on in the year. We're working some things out, so it'll be good.
Wow, that's
So it turned out
awesome.
to be pretty great. It's like a Latin record, so it's pretty dope.
That's awesome. Well, Guitar Boy, let's get started here. Let's talk about that some of that work that you're working on with Slim and Mike 112. That's a
Hmm.
legendary group right there. Just talk about some of
Oh,
that work that you're working on right now.
oh man, man, we've been like in doing this whole quarantine thing. It's been really like we've been working and grinding. So I've actually been kidnapped
Mm.
at my at my boy Slim's crib. He
That's very
Oh,
true.
there he is.
Listen,
There he is.
things are going real good. I promise you.
hey,
Love
we
it.
got the Moscato going. So I'm actually hanging out in the Madden room. He has a recording studio in his crib,
Wow,
so he's hanging out with us tonight as well, man.
nice. I
Hmm.
mean, talk about that sound. 112 is such a legendary group.
Man, you know what, man? It's just so incredible, man, to be working with Slim and Mike, and I mean, just that legacy alone, man, just is incredible, man. I don't take any of my blessings for granted, man. I know they all come from God. I try to keep Him first in everything I do, man. Even with the music, just trying to make sure that people can feel it, and also just touch the world through music. But man, Slim is just such an incredible vocalist, man. So I'm so used to working with singers that you have to use auto tune, and they want
Mm.
the auto tune on everything before they record. I mean, with him, we don't. I don't think I ever put up auto tune. It's like he
Mm.
sings everything so perfect. So I get spoiled. And so when I'm working with him and going to an artist who wants auto tune, I'm like, oh my God, it's like night and day. But he's such an incredible human being as well as not only just an artist, but a person. Good energy. We vibe. We've done some incredible. Even on his last record, Refilled,
Mm.
I was
Yeah,
blessed to get 3 joints on there, which turned out to be incredible. And also the project for a Grammy, it got nominated for a Grammy. So we was just thrilled and honored. I
that's
think I
awesome.
lost. Are you here? Are you
Yeah, I'm
here?
here.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that you got. You kind of paused a little bit.
That's all good. I think I heard most
Okay.
of it, but
Okay.
I want to get started to your very beginnings because I mean I got to first off give you some props because you've been putting in the work. You
Oh
started
man,
many
thank you,
many
bro.
years ago, and you're still
Oh
working. But let's go to
yes.
the beginnings here. I'm just looking at your discography. You actually started out working with R. Kelly, and I know we're not supposed to talk about R. Kelly now, but I think it's just an amazing story just to hear your
Yes.
come up working with a
Oh
legend.
man.
So talk about that.
Hey man, the coming up, man. Even before R. Kelly, I started in the church, man. I was a church
Mm,
musician. I've been Baptist, holiness. Just being a church musician and learning what that means was playing the drums, playing the organ, playing the piano, playing the guitar, bass, whatever it was that we was like in school. So we were the musicians, so they didn't pay the musicians, so we had to play. So starting from there, it helped create then from that playing quartets with the Christianaires, with the Mississippi Mass Choir, doing studio sessions with them with my guy Paul Porter from the Christianaires, good friend of mine. And then just that journey after college, after graduating from grad school, I moved to Chicago, and it all started. It went right back to church. So I met Kendall, my boy Vincent, and how I met R. Kelly was on the basketball court. So it was
wow.
like they took me to the court, and then Vince was like, "Hey man, you should check my boy P out, man. He's dope on the guitar." So Rob was like, he was like, "Oh man, you know how to play that box?" So he was calling the box the acoustic. So I was like, "Yeah, I can do a little something." So he invited me to the studio, and I went to the studio with some little kids that were running around, just bad little kid. Man, come to find out that was B2K. So that was
Wow.
Omari Young, and so it was like they was little kids at this time. They were little. So
Mm,
Tyrese was there, and so it was really. it was kind of really amazing, man. He has just finished making the best of both worlds with JC.
Wow.
He had
Okay.
just finished that, and I came in kind of like on the back end of that.
Wow,
Yep.
that's crazy.
So
I didn't
after that,
even
man, it just the
Yeah, I
rest
didn't
of
even
it is just
realize
all
it went
history.
back that far because I'm just looking like TP3 Reloaded is the first thing, but wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. So TB3 came out after I
Yeah.
was there for like 2 years, and that
Wow.
project, he worked on it right after TP2. So
Mm,
TP2 dropped, they were on tour. Then there was like a 2 year hiatus,
yeah.
and we was working on the project then. So my actually first record that I got placed was with Twista and Do or Die. It was called Hit
Wow.
It Till the Morning. That was my
Wow.
first. I was in the studio, just Abel had hooked me up, and Rob was like, "Hey man, just have fun." So I
Yeah.
started playing around on the track, but they was recording everything, bro. Because I'm
Mm,
excited, man. I'm doing all kind of chops and everything, like wah wahs and stuff. So Abel recorded everything, bro. He's like, "Okay, that's enough." So I listened to the record again, and they kept everything that I recorded on one take. So
right.
it was actually pretty crazy. It was like, and this all started from that. But shout out to
Right.
my boy Vincent, because I mean, without him inviting me to the gym, it may not even been this story. So it all came from basketball. And by the way,
Oh,
we won every game too. So
that's
but
awesome.
I was the picker. I was the picker. So I had to set all the picks, man. He wouldn't let me shoot. Yo, what's up? It's
Wow.
Joe. What's up, Ro? Oh, what's up, Overseer in Toronto? What's up, Doctor? I'm sorry down in the comments.
No, it's all good.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I
bro.
mean, that's awesome. So you're working with R. Kelly at the time, and like, R. Kelly's a genius. We know this. Talk about your role in the production. Was he taking the lead? Were you taking the lead? Like, just talk
Yeah.
about how that.
Hey man, a lot of when I first got there, it was like I was kind of like I was a new kid on the block. He
Yeah.
already was. Kendall was there. Kendall was like the spearhead of TP2. So me and Kendall played at church together. So we
Mm,
would create ideas at rehearsal at church, and we had at that time we had cassette tapes, and it was in a little dictaphone, and we would record the ideas, and we would take those ideas that we had in church rehearsal, we take those to the studio and make songs out of them. So
mm.
it was like incredible, and the cassette tape don't even exist anymore. So that's show you my age. So it was that thing, and then we were from that. I'm trying to think. I hope I didn't get sidetracked here. So I'm just trying to just rehearse back up my mind. So from that, ask your question again. I think I lost.
Oh, I mean, just the creative process with you
Oh,
and
oh
R.
yeah,
Kelly
his
in the
creative
studio.
process is incredible. A
Yeah.
lot of it was both ways. A lot of times he would come in and hum some ideas, and
Yeah.
but he loved the guitar. So all of the
Mm,
ideas was actually started from the guitar. Oh yeah, shout out to my boy Donnie Lyles. Donnie Lyles was already his musical director when I was there. So I was kind of like the new kid on the block coming in. So
right.
I kind of like didn't want to, when you knew you don't want to step on toes. So Rob was like sneaking me there at night. So he would have me come with Donnie and go to Canada on the weekend. I would come into the studio and lay parts down. So when Donnie gets back, he was like, "Hey man, where's my the guitars that I laid? Who is that?" So Rob had me replacing like parts of songs. So it kind of like started not really a beef thing, but it kind of started a tiny little, because Donnie was the man. I looked up to Donnie. That's like I'm like this Donnie Loud. I'm like, man, come on,
Mm,
man. This is the Steppers
yeah.
King. This is Donnie Loud. So it's like after Donnie got to know me, man, he saw I was genuine. I wasn't there to man, I was there ready to work and just like just make music, bro. So we
Right.
became good friends, man. After I showed him that I'm not there to, hey man, I'm just there to make good music. Let's work, make money together. Let's just have a good time. So Rob would like spearhead a lot of ideas. Shout out to my boy Rodney East, who was there, Kendall. We would all get in the studio, and it was almost like church rehearsal, man. We would
Mm,
just get in the studio and just gig, and we would just vibe out on some vibes, and the engineer would record everything. So we was just vibing live, just vibing. Rob would come in the room. Sometimes he wasn't there. The
mm,
times he was there, he would just hum something, but we were all set. I was
right.
already, I was recording. Uh, Kendall was at the board, Rodney was at the board, and if Big Mac was in town, he would be in the studio with us. And Rob would just start humming something, and then we would just catch the vibe with him. And then after he start humming, we would
Yeah.
just vibe to the melody of what he was doing, and then he'll just be like, "Hey, I'll be right back," or go on a run or whatever. And then
Yeah.
we'll be there working. And when he come back to the studio, we be on laid a verse and a hook because we so used to playing live together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was really, and we were all from the church. So that's why a lot of
Mhm.
people be like, "Hey man, a lot of production sound like church music." I mean, technically it was.
It
So
is, yeah.
yeah. So
That's awesome. Now, working with R. Kelly, you got to give us, because R. Kelly, of course, we know as a genius.
Yes.
Give us a moment where you witnessed that genius in person.
Oh man, I witnessed that genius in person when we were working. I saw it on TP3, kind of like I had just did a record called Remote Control,
Yep.
and they was playing me the record, and I was like, man, that record sounded incredible. It was an idea we had did, so we wound up building. I built the track up. Rob came in. I didn't even hear it after he laid his vocals. I
Yep.
came back in. He put his vocals on it, and man, he let me like lead the way on that song. It was like really incredible. Then
Yep.
Kendall added the vocoder, like TP3 Reloaded. He had that part on the end, so that was the genius. Then I came back to the studio, and I saw him dressed. It was almost like I don't want to say a pimp or nothing, but it was like he was dressed up in a character.
Mm.
So that's where Trapped in the Closet started. And it
Oh,
was
wow.
like, he was these different characters in the room. And it was like, it was incredible, man, because that whole thing came from do 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 Rodney playing on the keyboard, and I gave him the guitar, like doing laced a little part. I think Dunny added some stuff to that too. So and that's how Rodney kind of really started that whole melody off. And then
Oh,
Rob, man, it was like that was a whole movement, man. It turned from one chapter to chapter 2 to chapter 3 to chapter 4. Then it turned into a mini movie.
yeah.
And then he was like, they wanted more. Then after the album was done, he did more chapters after that. So that
Hmm.
was my experience of seeing that come to play into a movie was incredible, man. Because he became those characters. He was writing all the parts. So he was actually recording all the parts, and the actors just react what he already recorded.
Wow. That's
So
insane.
it was crazy, bro. It was like that was an incredible moment, man.
Oh,
Because he
yeah,
would actually
absolutely.
be dressed up in the character as he was recording.
Oh, really?
So we was experiencing some crazy stuff. So it was crazy. It was wild.
Wow. That's awesome. So let's fast forward a little bit. You're working with R. Kelly, and then you start doing your own thing, and then you
Hmm.
link up with Trey Songz, and I might be jumping, so feel free to fill in
Oh no,
the
no, it's all
blanks here.
good. So
But
this about you talking about like around time 2008 when I kind of left the chocolate factory.
yeah,
I kind of wanted to branch off on my own, just add some differences that we, kind of having, and I just
sure.
felt like it was that time to move on to become uh, the producer that I am today. I mean, I'm still learning now. I'm just saying to
Yeah.
become more of what I was hearing and have creative control of what I was doing. So I decided to take a leap of faith and just start my own thing. And when I left the chocolate factory, I met up with my guy Earl Powell, which I already knew. And I said, man, when I get off tour, we're gonna work, blah 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 blah.
Mm,
So we happened to do a record together. And by the time I got off tour, he said, hey man, woo, congratulations, we got a Jennifer Hudson placement. So I
mm,
wound up. I was actually that kind of was my well no let's fast my first placement was David Banner on the
right.
Baptized in Dirty Water. That was back in 2001, like
Okay.
2001, 2000, with the same album that Little Flip was on.
Yeah.
So then now we're gonna speed back up. So we're going back 2008. So after leaving there, Jennifer Hudson, and then after that happened with her family, my manager, I already had met Polo, Elvis, and Jasper, Sean Garrett, the Runners, and who else was there?
Black Elvis.
Black Elvis. We became good friends, man. So we wound up doing the remix to Sierra Promise.
Right. Yep.
So I remember meeting Polo when he was like the Polo that was like I think he was like a model. So I don't know. He was coming to studio with muscle shirts and stuff on. I'm like, oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we wound up being good friends, man. And I don't know why I'm sweating like that. I got a little towel. Probably this wine. Well, yeah, man. But I'm just trying to get it out. I'm reading the comments. Hey, everybody. Um, to go back to coming to Atlanta, moving here was like a faith move. As soon as I got to it was like a faith. Me and my manager got here, and we got ground running. So I wound up meeting. I met up with Troy Taylor. I met Troy Taylor through I forgot the guy's name, man. Andre Borkin's boy. So anyway, he's from South Carolina. He was like, "Hey, man, you should definitely hit up Troy Taylor. He has an artist by the name of Trey Songz. He's like in the same lane as R.
Mm,
Kelly. What's up, Czar? As R. Kelly." And so I went over. I called him. I was like, "Hey, man, this guitar boy, blah blah blah. I just moved here from Chicago. I'm from the R. Kelly camp." He was like, "Hey, man." Now he's like, I said, my boy Chef Tone. He said, "Hey, man, you know Chef Tone?" So he said, Chef Tone is here right now. And I was
mm,
like, I put him on the phone. So he asked Chef did he know me, and Chef was like, man, that's Guitar Boy from the Chocolate Factory. So Troy was like, hey man, I'm finna text you my address. You have a car? I said, yeah, I got a car. At that time, you know, it wasn't no smartphones like it is now.
Right.
I was using MapQuest. So
Oh,
I would I had to print out the directions on MapQuest. I had a BlackBerry Edge phone with the little roller on the end. So
mm,
I put it up on MapQuest, and that's how I got to his crib on MapQuest. So when I got to his crib, so Trey was there. They was playing video games in the movie theater, Delonte's. And man, it was just, I came in, I played some records, played some tracks. Actually, played some songs that was like complete songs. And Troy was like, play me some beats. So I started playing some tracks, playing some stuff we had did. And it just sparked a whole relationship, man. And shout out to my boy, Troy Taylor, who is my brother for life, man. So, I mean, he just opened the door for me over there. And that's how, you know, we created the songs with Trade Neighbors, Panty Dropper, Your Side of the Bed. So
yeah.
that's how all that became. Shout out to my boy, Chef Tone.
Yeah, that was that era and that time period for Trey. Like we're just celebrating anticipation that just came out on streaming platforms and the record It Would
Yes.
Be You, as well as Your
Oh,
Side of the Bed. Those
yes.
records, those are like two of my favorite Trey records.
Oh,
Just
man.
it had such a classic feel to it. Trey put his spin on it. You know, just talk about what you remember about making those songs.
Oh that was incredible, bro. Just really it would be you was just after we build the track, I would come back to the studio and Troy, him and Trey had got together. Trey actually recorded himself, so he actually
Mm,
sits at the computer and actually records himself. Like they don't even need an engineer.
that's
So he was
crazy.
recording himself. I came back like it was like a movie, bro. Like every day was like when you come, we create a track. I come back the next day, the song is written. So it was like
Wow.
it was just so phenomenal, man, and how it would be you. And he played me the record. I was like, wow. And then when he played Your Side of the Bed, I was like, wow, wow. So it really turned from a mixtape. It turned into Trey releasing Ready, getting ready for the album. So
Right.
and it was like that's how that became about just from that mixtape. So I don't think we would have had a Ready if it wasn't for anticipation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was such an epic moment right there, and you know it elevated to Trey and where is today. And I want to bring up another song that came up during this era. This song didn't come out, but I love this song. It's the Mario record, "Really Love You." You remember
Mm,
that one? That's a
yeah.
great song. That's an
Oh,
amazing song. Yeah,
yeah, okay. Oh man,
yeah.
you know your history, okay?
Oh yeah, man. I've been following your music for a while, and that record right there. Talk about that one because that one is it has that classic feel to it as well, and Mario sounds great on it.
Oh man, it was dude, it was Mario's an amazing singer, bro.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was just his vibe and his energy, man, is just so shout out to Mario, man. It's just about Mario, it's just good vibes. I grabbed the acoustic guitar or the electrical guitar and we just like hum and just like share ideas back and forth, man. So it was just amazing working with him, man.
Right. That's awesome. So after that Trey album, I feel like that's when I really got to know your music. What kind of doors did that album open up for you as a
Oh,
producer?
oh my God. As a producer, man, that opened up, man, that's why I'm saying, man, shout out to my boy Troy Taylor,
Mm.
who showed me a lot of love on that album, man. And it was just, I mean, he was 100 with the business, 100 with everything, bro. And it's like that album opened up doors to where I got signed to Warner Brothers. My boy, shout out to my boy Juan Madrid, who flew down to Atlanta. And he came and met me at Patchwork Studios. I was working with Jazzy and Young Jock at the time, and one came down and welcomed me to the Warner Chapel family, and I was that was a big thing for me. So and I wound up flying back to L.A. to close the deal with them, and so that just opened up a whole that what we have today, man. Being with Warner, with just meeting so many people, and it was just a history. So I've been blessed to be with them for the last 10 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, what I've noticed throughout your production and your producing career is that you do a lot of co-production as well. It doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily have to be you leading the track. You're okay with contributing to the track. I think a
Yes.
lot of producers have an ego and they don't want to do that. I'm just talking about that.
Man, I'm telling you right now, bro. I've learned to where I used to be just. I think it all comes back from the Chocolate Factory.
Mm,
Being because I was that's how I work a lot and just bouncing off with ideas. And in the room, man, there's no egos involved. We're there to do one thing, man, to try to make a single, try to make a hit song. Like I let the guys know when I'm working with them. Even now, we collaborating, bro. A lot of the guys I work with, they're not musicians. They're like I say they're like beat makers. They know how to
Mm,
make a beat, so they don't know melody or they don't know how to play an instrument. So when you're in the studio, when the artists say, "Hey, let's create something from scratch," you
right.
just can't sit there and bam on drums and like try to come up with a melody for a record. You know, you got to grab an instrument, guitar,
Mm,
piano, whatever that may be. So,
yeah.
and I was just used to taking that lead role of with the guitar, coming up with the chords, coming up with the progressions of the song, or if not, going to the piano and playing some melodies. And the writer or the artist himself would just hum melodies, and we started the song that way. So that being from the Chocolate Factory, it was easier to like work with different people and not have such an ego because once you get a hit song, everybody was like, hey man, I got the hit song, so I'm gonna take lead
Yeah.
on. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't even about egos, man. It's about
Mm,
being able to work together, man, and just throw your egos to the side, bro. I mean, because at the end
right.
of the day, I mean, I don't care who lead the track. If the artist don't pick the record, I mean, we have nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, we have
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah. I want to give you a shout out for your work with Danja. Danja is one of my favorite producers, but
Oh man,
when you guys work
yes,
together, like Incapable by Keisha, If It Ain't
yeah,
Love by K
yes,
Michelle, and then that
yep.
new Luke record, Traveling, like
Thank
those
you.
records, they're like some futuristic type of records, but they still have that R&B feel to it. Talk about
Yeah.
that work that you're doing with Danja because it's
Hey
incredible.
man, working with Danger Man, it's been how I met Danger with Polo. Man, Polo was down in Miami working on
Yeah.
Monica and Bando
Mhm.
Jones album back in 2014,
Right.
and that's how I met Danger working in Hollandale Beach at his studio.
Right.
And bro, working with him, like, I mean, this dude is incredible, bro. He's like, this guy is like, his drum is like amazing to me, bro. So that he
Yeah.
made me step my drum game up. That's how a
Mhm.
lot of my friends was like, hey man, your drums are sounding crazy. It's because of being around Danger, man. He just pushed me and
Yeah.
like to be like, just don't think, no, just 1, 2, 3, 4. Think
Right.
around 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? So just like if it's on the beat, try to do it off the beat. Just
Right.
kind of like I mean, it's just that dude is incredible, man. I call him he's from another planet. Like I mean,
Yeah.
he's like a ninja. He's a ninja, so a ninja of music.
Yeah.
But man, he made me step my game up for his like with the drum programming and just how he plays. He plays keyboards very well as well. So we
Mm,
was just working, and it was the collaborative was like amazing, bro. Some days he'll let me lead off. I lead the idea. He'll come in. He'll lead off, and it was we just bounced back and forth. There was no ego. It was nothing, bro. And it was like, and my most incredible moment is when we worked with Britney Spears and what were we? We were in oh God. I can't even think. We was at Tito Jackson, the old Jackson's house. We worked with Brittany
mm,
there and seeing her in there. We did some incredible vibes there.
it's crazy. Talk about talk about that Luke record traveling because like I can't
Oh,
even classify that as a genre. That's just like out of
okay.
this
Yeah. Oh
world.
man, that's a great man. Shout out to my boy Concept on the
Yeah,
pen on that record. My boy Concept is a
yeah,
great songwriter here out of Atlanta. Man, that whole song was a moment in Miami, bro.
yeah.
We went there for 2 weeks and wound up staying 4 months. So so that vibe came from being there at Danger Spot because his studio is set up like musician haven. Like it's like you don't want
Mm,
to leave the studio, bro. It's like it's the fish tank when you walk in the door. It's the live drum set, the live piano room. I mean the live amplifiers in there. So if you want to vibe out to a live amp, so it's like it's paradise, bro. Like when you're there, you don't even want to leave. So it's like
right.
he got a basketball court outside. We just moved the Lambo out of the way and just started playing basketball. He got a barbecue grill on the back. So he
Wow.
puts meat on the grill. So it's just a whole family thing, man. And it was traveling came about with Luke being we
Yeah.
was playing with sounds and just shout out to my boy Ryan Toby as well. So it's
Mm,
like
yep.
it was like I mean those amazing songwriters, bro. It was like Haven, bro. It was so many great, amazing people in the room. And Marcella, of course, who mixed the songs.
Yeah. Shouts to Marcella.
Yeah.
So so Guitar Boy, 112 is on the horizon. What else do you have going on right now?
Hey man, it's amazing, bro. I was just blessed to get the new the Slime and Beat albums just dropped.
Mm,
I got
yeah.
a song on there called Stolen with Thugger on it. So
Yeah.
I mean that's that we hoping that become a single. So I mean the album just dropped like 2 days ago. So
Right.
I hope everybody's listening to the record.
Yeah.
man. And I got that with Slim's solo project and also 112, which I have an
Wow.
incredible record that I just produced for them. We're waiting to get Mike on the record. And
Right.
and just what else? I got Blanco Brown. I'm going in with him. Working on some stuff with Jimmy Allen, my boy Seth Enos out of Nashville. So I've been doing a whole bunch of country stuff as well.
Oh
And
wow.
oh, by the way, let me shout out to my mom is in here too. Shout out to my mom who's in here, and shout out to Manager T, which I can't do anything without her.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then last question here, just because your journey has been quite a journey. You've been in the industry for many, many years,
Mm-hmm.
and I think for a new producer coming up, they can get impatient because the
Mm.
placements aren't coming. But
Mm-hmm.
you've seen this industry from your start to now. Like, what's
Oh man.
the advice that would you tell them just to stay patient, or is there
Hey
something that they
man,
have to do with their craft?
I say first you have to love what you do
Hmm.
and be patient because it's not easy, man. If it was easy, everybody could do it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's one thing, man. I just say keep God first, and the main thing is to stay humble
Hmm.
and be stay true to your character, man. Don't even be trying to I mean, don't try to be someone who you're not, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's the worst thing someone could do is like I try to be the same before I got on as the dude before I was known as a platinum producer. You know, there's just a
Right.
title. So it's like I
Right.
don't get in the room if I'm working with someone who may not have many placements, but they have an incredible spirit, man. They have an incredible character. And that's the
Yeah.
main thing, man, is just be humble, bro. Like all this stuff, all these accomplishments mean nothing, bro, if you got a bad character. Like I mean, you know, like no one want to be around you. So in the
Yeah.
artists, they feel that, bro, in the studio. Like you can, it's almost like having somebody around you with bad energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it just mess up the whole vibe of stuff. Like I think a lot of these records that I've been blessed to be a part of has been because of just being a good person, man. Just being
Right.
nice and knowing the artists. A lot of the artists I work with, I become just when we become good friends, and almost like we become brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they
Right.
text me happy birthday, or they text, hey, Merry Christmas, Doctor. Hope all is well. How's the family? What? So
Hmm.
this is just by being, you know, just being a good person, man. And like, I mean, I try to establish relationships with the artists, like my boy Slim.
Yeah.
Man, it's like we became like brothers, man. So it's like,
Yeah.
so it's been amazing, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing I actually just tweeted
What's
that
up,
out
Czar?
recently.
My boy Czar.
What's going on? No, I just tweeted this out recently. I think in order to really make it, only a little bit of it is because of your talent, but the other portion and the bigger portion is how you treat people.
Yeah, man, it's 100%,
Yeah,
bro. And another story, if we have time,
yeah.
my shout out to my boy Jeff Vaughn, who's also the president of Capitol Records now. When I
Hmm.
first met Jeff, Mike Cameron flew me and my manager to LA. That was right after Trey albums dropped. That's how I met DJ Frankie, my boy Kane Beats. We were working. Mike Cameron wanted to put me with his producers there, MDL.
Right,
And I met Jeff. When I met Jeff, Jeff booked our hotels. And when we got to the hotel, he was like, "Hey man, where y'all want to stay?" Blah 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 blah. So he thought I was gonna be this arrogant producer, like
right.
demanding to stay in West Hollywood, pick me up with a limo and a bus. So he was like, "Bro," he was like, "Man," he said, "Are we gonna have a rental car set? Is a certain kind of car you want to rent or drive or whatever?" I was like, "Hey man, just give me a basic car that's good on gas." You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Right.
so it was like I don't gotta be in no Porsche or nothing like that. So he was like, "Man," and I got to the studio. He was like, "Bro, I mean," he said, "You are so different from the other producers that we fly out here, man. They be wanting to fly first class. They be wanting. I think the Escalades that just dropped. They be
Mm,
requesting the Escalades. They want to stay at the Ritz Carlton. I mean, it was crazy, bro. He was like you wouldn't make demanding. You just asked to stay at the Hotel Sheraton, bro, and that was. He said, "Man, you sure you want to stay there?" I was like, "Bro, that's my favorite hotel in Hollywood. I love the Sheraton Universal. It's right there at Universal at City Walk, and I can
yeah.
get on the shuttle and go to City Walk. I love that hotel. So that's my
Yeah.
favorite hotel. And whenever I'm in
Wow.
LA, I always stay there, bro. So it's like to this day, I
Love
go
it.
to the theme park, man, and it'd be the funnest thing ever. We're going to the theme park before your set. I mean, after your sessions, being right there close to Jimmy Kimmel Studio. So it was like he had told me, man, you weren't demanding. And then years came by, went back to LA. Jeff became Mike Karen's assistant. So
Mm,
at this time, he had moved up. And then he just got another promotion. He came in the studio one day. I was working with Tank. and he was like, "Hey man, I have to say, man, I didn't know what he was gonna say." He said, "I have to say, man, when I first met you, you're the same guy that
Mm,
when I was Mike Caron's assistant. You never treated me different. You always
right.
showed me respect and everything. And now he's the president of
Wow.
Capitol Records, man. And to this day, I could text him right now, and I get a response from him. Like if I text him right now, he'd be like, "Oh, where you at?" I mean, it's just like it's amazing to have those relationships, and that's all
Yeah.
becoming just being a good person, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Absolutely. That's how I feel too. So, Guitar Boy, we're out of time here, but man, I just want to give you a big shout out once again for the work that you've done for R&B, what you're gonna do
Thank
with
you.
Slim. I don't know if Slim is still around, but we're expecting some
Uh,
greatness from this.
oh, Slim, Slim, where you at, Doctor? Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
It's all
he
good.
probably gonna jump in the pool, man. Man, he got the pool outside, bro. Hey, we probably gonna go
Yeah.
swimming in a little bit. So it's like, hey, man, it's amazing over here. He got the pool table downstairs, so air
Love
hockey. So
it.
it's like you don't want to go. He was trying to show
No.
you some love. Oh, here he come. Here he come.
Oh,
Yeah, man. So I came here and got kidnapped, man. But it's a good place to be kidnapped.
no, absolutely. No, I'm just saying,
We
guys, you
doing
guys.
two interviews.
We doing
I
two
got one.
interviews there. Well, he's on the
We
interview.
live right here.
We
Yo, see,
live on live.
I'm doing
Oh,
something.
that's
I'm doing
crazy.
something wild right now.
Yeah. Shout
That's
out. He want to
cool.
give you a shout out, Slim.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, man, I just want to say, you guys better put that fire out. I know what you guys are both capable of. We need it for R&B.
Yeah, we got heat, man. We got real heat. We've been working with a lot of people. He's called in a lot of favors. You know, he know a whole bunch of people, right? So so right now I'm looking at some. I just got some records from Eric Bellinger and
Wow.
Ant Clemens. Yeah, Eric Bellinger, and then Ant Clemens. He's sending some
Wow.
records. I think I heard like Hitmaker beat. It's a whole bunch of joints in there. Big shout out to everybody that's working on the project. NR, we got my boy Marco.
Oh yeah.
We've been doing
Wow.
some different music, like other genres. Like we
Hmm.
were in the country field. We had went to Nashville.
Wow.
Our last show was in Nashville. While we were up there, we ran into Jimmy Allen. Been doing some
Wow.
stuff like that. With our brother Blanco. We're doing some collaboration. So, hey, don't be surprised at what you hear, man.
Hey, man,
It's
I'm
Seth. It's
excited.
Seth.
Yeah, I'm
Shout out
like
Seth.
Seth, man.
Seth, Florida Georgia Line, baby. Woo!
Can't
Hey,
wait.
man.
Hey,
Well,
hey, man.
man, I
This
want to
is
appreciate
wild.
you for taking the time out for this.